Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for clicking on the video. Now is the turn to create a powerful dual handling strength build that it turned out pretty amazing. Feels like everything is a nail and you are just a big hammer. Actually, two big hammers. I'll show you how to set it up, how to play it, and my thoughts on it. Let's get to it. Quick shout out to our sponsor, AOE.com. If you don't have the time to grind for runes or items in Elden Ring and need them real fast, use my code BAL for 3% off. I'm going to explain the process that I use with this one. I wanted to dual handling two colossal weapons with a strength build. So I checked on my inventory what colossal weapons I had available that could add actual work to them, because I prefer mixing my attacks and not rely on a weapon skill over and over. So I had a few options like the Golem's Halberd or the Prelate Infernal Crozier, and I decided to go with the Giant Crusher and started building around them. You can get this weapon on a chest behind a black funeral coach south of Outer Wall Phantom Tree side of Grace. Watch out for an enemy that's appeared nearby. So you see you can get it in mid-game and has a high requirement of 60 strength that you need to meet surely when you are close to level 100. But when you meet those requirements, dang, you can stomp on every mob in Elden Ring all day long. This weapon is one of the most high physical damage dealers. You want to infuse it with a heavy affinity to get the most strength scaling and bonus damage when you max out at level 25. There are a few actual word combinations that you can try if you want, like Lion's Claw, Crack Blade, or 2 Royal Knight Resolve that does massive damage, and that is the meta right now. But I wanted to give a Crack Blade on the main hand and 1 Royal Knight Resolve on the other one and still stomp on every enemy. I know it's not the meta, but still kicks butt. The main attribute for this build is strength and vigor. The secondary attributes is endurance mostly, then mind and faith to have enough focus point to be able to buff and be able to meet the requirements for some buff incantations. When you're level 50, it's probable that you still be in the early game and not reach Alto's plateau to get to the Giant Crusher, but you can still build up your attributes in the meantime to have something like this, leveling your strength and vigor the most. At level 100, it's more probable that you have a Giant Crusher already and close to meet the requirements of 60 strength. If you don't meet the requirements, keep adding points to your strength. You want vigor around 40, strength at 60, and endurance around 24. Dexterity at 14 to be able to use the commander standard buff, and faith at 15 to use flame grant me strength. At level 150, you want to get strength to level 80 to scale the damage of your Giant Crusher, your vigor and endurance at 60, and start putting some points in mind. At level 200, and that's the level of my character, you want to increase vigor to 70, mind now around 23, endurance at 60, strength at 80. That way you'll have a lot of HP and endurance to have a lot of stamina and more equip load. That is much needed with this heavy build. The rest of the armaments of this build are for buffing your attack power. We have an Uchigatana with Seppuku Ash of War that will increase attack power and will activate the Lord of Blood's Exaltation Talisman, increasing our attack power by 20% for 20 seconds. Also, we have the Commander Standard, only for the skill called Rallying Standard, increasing our damage by 20% as well, all damage negation by 20%, and last 30 seconds. Cannot be stacked with Golden Vow, so we are not using it on this build. You can get this weapon by defeating Commander O'Neill in Eastern Caelid in Aeonia Swamp. Next is the Clawmark Seal. The only reason I'm using it is that it's scaled with strength. You can add Bestial Incantation at your leisure, but the only incantation that we're going to go with is Flame Grant Me Strength, and having this or the Finger Seal will do. You can find this seal given Gurranq Beast Clergyman a Death Root, He's located on the Bestial Sanctum in Caelid. For the helm, I'm using an altered eccentric hood. The chest piece is the raptor's black feathers that will increase around 10% all jump attacks. It can be found on a chest behind a magic wall inside Sage's cave in Mount Gilmere. For gloves, I'm using the Knight's Cavalry gauntlets and greaves. What you need is a high poise armor to be able to withstand damage or stagger when doing attacks, because this build hits like a truck, so you just want to hit them no matter if you get hit. The talismans on this build are first, Lord of Blood Exaltation, that will increase attack power by 20% for 20 seconds when an enemy is afflicted by bloodlust. But we're not afflicting bloodlust with the Giant Crusher. Instead, we're using Seppuku to activate this talisman. Next is the Ritual Sword Talisman to increase attack power by 10% when full health. So get that health to the max every time you can to keep this buff. It can be found in Lux Ruins in Altus Plateau in a chest after defeating demi-human Queen Gillica. Our third talisman is the Claw Talisman that will increase jump attacks by 15%. It's stacked with the jump attack buff from the Raptor Black Feathers. You can obtain it pretty early in Stonevale Castle on a dead body on a watchtower. And lastly is the Grey Jar's Arsenal that will increase max equip load by 19%, allowing us to carry the massive 2 hammers and the armor. You can get it by beating the 3 duelist NPCs in Dragon Barrow. The physiques flask that I'm using is, the first one is the Green Burst Crystal Tier that will boost stamina recovery speed by 15 stamina per 3 minutes. It drops from the Earth Tree avatar in Caelid, east of the Smoldering Church. And second is the Stone Barb Crack Tier that will generate posture damage by 30%, lasting 30 seconds, helping breaking enemy stances. You can get it by beating the Putrid avatar near the second minor Earth Tree in Caelid. And also for extra buff for attack power, we can use the Exalted Flesh that will give 20% physical damage for 30 seconds. Or you can use the Blood Boil Aromatic that will buff physical damage by 30%, decreasing damage negation by 60 seconds. You can choose one or the other because they can stack together. Both items are craftable. Our only incantation will be Flame Grant Me Strength that will raise by 20% physical and fire attack power and will last 30 seconds. You can also use other incantations that will remove poison or rot, like Flame Cleanse Me. The way that I play this build is starting with the jump attack, then doing the 3 combo power stancing animation to finish it off. That way the jumping damage will be increased by Claw Talisman and the Raptor's chest. This build without any buff, it will still hit hard, but if you want to increase the damage even more, you can start by buffing yourself with Seppuku to activate the Lord of Blood Exaltation Talisman, or using the Commander Standard skill. On challenging or boss fight, you want to do the entire buff sequence, starting with the Physique Flask, then doing Seppuku, then the Commander Standard skill, then Flame Grant Me Strength, then applying Royal Knight Resolve on the offhand and Craig Blade on the main hand, and finally the body buff like Exalted Flesh or Blood Boil Aromatic. With this high poise, you can bypass enemy attacks and still connect your combos, making the trade-off beneficial to you since this build does great amount of physical damage. Remember to take advantage of that and maybe not try to find the perfect angle or opening to hit enemies. You are powerful enough that you don't have to do it, just go at them aggressively. This is a great and powerful strength build that moves away a little bit from the Royal Knight Resolve meta, and it's pretty fun to stomp everything on your way. It's a New Game Plus build since you need a couple of Giant Crushers. Remember, I played the majority of a playthrough with a build to test it out, and this build is 100% recommended to squash stuff on your next playthrough. The only downside is the huge size of the hammer that sometimes won't let you see what's happening, and if you use Crack Blade, it gets even worse. But it's all good when stomping and killing your enemies. So me not being a fan of colossal weapons, I can say that this one is one of my favorite builds now because of the high damage up close and personal. I hope this build guide has been helpful to you if you wanted to do a strength build. Thank you for watching, guys. Slap that like button to get this video to more people, and if you want to miss any builds or any Elden Ring content, please consider subscribing. Thank you guys again, and as always, be safe and see you on the next one. Ciao.